There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true. Yo, everyone. The Yonkō Table has set sail yet again into the realm of the multiverse. That's right, everyone. We're here to talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, be warned, if you or anyone has not seen Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, go watch it first, because we are going to be going into heavy spoiler territory, and we want you guys to go in as blind as possible when watching this film. But then, of course, come back and give us a listen and let us know what you all think. But yeah, Multiverse of Madness. I'm sure we all have differing opinions on this film. But before we deep dive the movie, with me, as always, is fellow Yonkō, GrandMasterHoop. Grandmaster, I see you have another doctor next to you.
Right, can't escape the doctors and the JDs and the whatever. Yes, there's a doctor present, and it's not me. That's fine though. That's okay. I'm not like mad. We're good. Yes.
That's great. That's great. I'm glad you're okay. But yes, as always, we always have Supernovas here to deep dive the film with us today. And let's do it. Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. Now, before we dive deep into this film, I want to throw the question on the table. What was everyone's expectations going into the movie? What did you need the movie to do going in?
I wanted to geek out, and I try not to set myself up. I had one geek out moment.
Did you only have one? Because you were sitting pretty close to me and you kept making so many noises.
I had one geek out moment, and not that the movie needs to be a geek out moment, but like a geek out moment throughout. However, I feel they didn't have as much fun with this film as they could have had. And that was my expectation, to have fun with the multiverse concept. And that's all I'll say. Nino, shake your head.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna bounce off of that, because you want to know, I was expecting a Sam Raimi film, and we got that. I was expecting Sam Raimi's return, and guess what? We got that, and blew me out of the water in terms of that expectation.
That's fair enough. I mean, I knew going in it was going to be a Sam Raimi movie. You know, the guy hasn't touched a Marvel film since the greatest, Spider-Man 3. We all know this. And I mean, I wanted the campiness, and I got the campiness from Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. You got the close-up shots of people's faces, you know, zooming in. You got the little winks going in there, and our boy Bruce Campbell even makes an appearance. You can't have a Sam Raimi film without Bruce Campbell. So, I mean, hey, it checked off all the marks for what Sam Raimi needed to do with the movie. But I knew that going in, but I think I'm kind of with Grandmaster on this. I did want a couple more wow moments in the movie. Not saying there weren't any. I'm sure we all geeked out at a particular scene, but yeah, that's my overall thoughts of the film. It felt Sam Raimi, but I don't know. I needed a little bit more. What did you guys think?
No, like from my perspective, I like that the movie took risks. I thought it would, like me going into the film, I thought this is going to be a kind of different-ish MCU movie. It checked that box out for me. And I did have some geek out moments, maybe not as much as I wanted, but still like sufficiently enough to be like, okay. But yeah, I still got my things with the movie, and I'll talk about it later.
I mean, honestly, for me, I wanted a Marvel horror movie. I wanted to see Wanda. I wanted to see the cameos. And I really wanted to see like the Doctor Strange creepiness of like all of like the different characters that come with it. And we definitely got that. And I don't know if I'm eating my words or you know, kind of taking back my wish right now, but you know what? I do have to say it was definitely something.
No, I will agree. It was a different Marvel movie. I'm glad that they took the risk of what Sam Raimi's direction was with the movie. There were a lot of spooky moments, you know, a couple of jump scares that I wasn't expecting, and it fit the mold. You know, I guess going into the actual plot of the movie. So this takes place after No Way Home, right? Confirmed? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, confirmed.
Okay. And what is, I keep forgetting her name in the actual lore. What's his love interest name? Rachel?
Christine.
Christine.
Rachel.
Christine. Goodness gracious. But so Rachel, Doctor Strange, attending the wedding and tackling some tough issues on, is the man happy? Did you guys see that, him going in that direction from any of the previous movies, or do you think they kind of forced this new narrative like on Doctor Strange, like, oh well, I've saved the world countless times, but am I happy?
But is that what the movie's about?
Not necessarily.
They kept bringing up the fact, hey, are you happy, Wong? Are you happy, Steven? What defines happiness?
You know what? I'll get to it, but I'll let everyone else speak because maybe y'all misunderstood the move.
I mean, I think there was an overall kind of theme of, are you satisfied with life? One character was not satisfied with life, and she took drastic measures to change her outcome.
Christine?
Yeah,
she got married.
Peter Parker.
No.
Are we just saying names?
Christine got married.
I was
you like to clarify for the audience?
I was definitely not referring to Christine. I'm talking about Wanda, which listen, let's not sugarcoat things. Talking about this theme of happiness, Wanda's not happy. Yes, she's not happy, understandably. Is this the direction you wanted to see Wanda? Psycho
Yes.
Wanda again?
No.
Yes.
No, I didn't want to see Psycho
I did
Wanda.
not want to see this direction of Wanda. I felt like in WandaVision, which some of us, you know, have up there in terms of the greatest Marvel series, and that's fine. That is fine. But I feel like what makes WandaVision great was one of the lessons that the show I felt taught was how to deal with grief and how to move on. But to see Wanda kind of regress back a little bit and not be able to overcome that grief in the movie. But of course, the plot device in there is, oh, the Darkhold has this fingers and wand. that was a bad
No, it does in her psyche.
That was a bad description.
Yeah, see, that's how you make that better. That's how you make that better. The Darkhold's got a hold of her psyche.
Got a hold.
It is manipulating her to do whatever it takes to get her deepest desires. So yes, it is a plot device, and I don't necessarily vibe with it because yes, like you said, it is a regression of character, and at this point, it is a forced regression because they had to give a MacGuffin to make it happen. So, I don't know. I don't know. I was not a fan of Wanda being the villain. Not saying though it wasn't fun to watch though.
It was fun to see her being spooky and having the little witch demon eyes. She was a terror. It was scary when she was chasing Strange and our newcomer America Chavez through all the different multiverses, and it was fun. But to get to that point, I just didn't like the process. Nino, I see you're itching. You're itching to.
I am itching. I am.
What are you waiting for? Just do it.
Do it.
I'm just surprised that y'all think that WandaVision was about getting over grief, when the most memorable line of the climax was "Grief is just love persevering." Wanda didn't learn how to get over grief. In fact, she probably traumatized herself even more by having to choose to say goodbye to her children, thinking that maybe she can get them back one day. And that's where I think she was at in this, getting into this film. And then she was just getting curious about the dark arts, which when it's the theme is that if you get curious enough, if you let your grief completely overtake you, you'll stop making choices that you can be proud of. That's what I think that this movie is about.
Thought it was more so don't go chasing waterfalls.
What? Oh, with the actual book that she had.
Well, I'm saying as far as Wanda and Doctor Strange's like motive, as far as when they got a hold of the Darkhold and they wanted to go ahead and change, like replace themselves in a place where they think they're happier, and it's more so don't chase things that obviously aren't meant for you. I think that's like what it gave the entire time, as far as like both of them.
But did we see that direction? Like, I guess my main problem with it is I needed this movie to tell me that was the direction Wanda was going in, but I didn't see that direction from WandaVision. Like the end of WandaVision, I did not see her potentially progressing to the state that she's in Multiverse of Madness. And I guess that's my main problem with it, because I think the trailers for the movie did a pretty good job in trying to hide who the villain was, because I don't even think they really even said Wanda, or I don't even think they even applied that Wanda was the villain in the trailers, right?
Never thought Wanda was going to be the villain. No. Thought this was going to be a shared heroic experience.
I thought she was like the Doctor Strange to No Way Home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the team up. The team up. It was not a team up.
No, this
was a versus.
Yeah, this was a battle. This is a back and forth.
Witchcraft versus sorcery.
With all the same thing.
No,
more like it was
Actually, no. They try to make a division with it, I think.
Sorcery has the circles. Witchcraft has the runes.
Yeah.
Nobody says it's all the same.
They literally say it in the movie.
That was literally a key plot point to find out. They're like, oh my God, this isn't sorcery. This is witchcraft. You know who knows about witchcraft?
Yeah.
Probably the most powerful person in the whole universe. Wow.
Nah, man, it's the same thing as, oh, this is not a T-Rex. This is a Stegosaurus. They're both dinosaurs. So, yeah.
They're two different dinosaurs.
Exactly. One's an herbivore.
Dude, you're in the wrong here.
No, I'm not.
That metaphor was bad. That metaphor was bad.
It's a forced plot point. It's a forced plot point.
Oh my God. Oh, you know what? A forced plot point? That doesn't make any sense. Now you're gonna say that if I type words on a script and then type another sentence right after it, that's a forced sentence. That's a forced sentence.
I'm just saying.
I spoke. That's a forced speaking. I'm forcing myself to speak.
I'm just saying. I don't think there needed to be a division. It just makes sense. Wanda is grieving still, and that's it. And she grabs a hold of the Darkhold, and it amplifies her grief.
There was a good point in there though, when he came to go see her in the apple orchard, that like she said that when he breaks the rules, he's looked at as a hero, but then when she breaks the rules, she looked at as a villain, and that's not
that line.
And that seemed to be like the premise of the whole movie, that like she uses the Darkhold, she's a villain. He uses the Darkhold, he's a hero that saves the day to take out the person who uses the Darkhold. You know, like there is a lot of hypocrisy that happens. And is it because he's the man? Is it because she can't control her powers? I mean, America Chavez can't control her powers. And so there seems to be a lot of moments, and I think we're starting to realize that there's like some hypocrisy that happens with some of these superheroes, and that maybe Sokovian Accords are right. Maybe there needs to be some sort of governance over people who have powers.
Whoa.
Sokovian Accords are dumb. They've been mentioned only twice.
I think.
And
I think no.
after Civil War, everybody could just run around, and they don't make no sense. They don't make no sense.
After Thanos snapped, I think I'm surprised that the U.S. government is still functioning at that point, or the UN at all. But yeah, you bring up a good point. Like they do, but I think that's the journey that Strange has to go on. That he had that in the end he trusts America. I can't say that. He trusts America Chavez to make the right call. And in the end he's like, I can't do this, but you can.
Which is like circling back to what Christine tells him at the beginning of like why they never worked out.
You have to hold the knife.
You have to hold a knife. Like Strange never knew how to actually, you're better than me or whatever, or like I actually need help here and I'll give you the knife. I'll trust you to do an equally better or same job as I can. And when he finally like kind of grew as a character with America Chavez saying like, I'm giving you the surgical knife now. Like you're the one who has to do the job and I trust you to do the job.
Which is also another interesting plot point because he gave those reins to Tony Stark to do the job, right? Like, out of the 14 million outcomes that he saw, there's an infinite amount of outcomes, right? He could have kept going and trying to find a different outcome to all of this. But, I mean, he gave the reins to Tony to take over and to save the universe. So, I think it's interesting that we're still going back to, like, Doctor Strange is very selfish and that he has to take the reins. I thought that we were already grew past that in the past.
But the thing is that really, in a way, he was taking the reins that like when he gave Tony Stark the reins because like, yeah, he just used the eye of Agamotto, I think that's what it's called, like to see all the possible outcomes. With America Chavez, he really didn't go and see the outcomes. He was just like, I'm going to take a leap of faith here. And I'm really just gonna trust her, and that's what happened. Like with Infinity War and all that stuff, it's like, well, I only took the decision that I knew was gonna be the correct one because, well, the eye showed.
But he still took the decision. He was the one.
Yeah, like he was the one who made the tough call. He was the one to do that call, to make that call. Nobody else. It was Strange. Here, it was just like America Chavez could have done anything that she wanted, and he just left it to her.
And actually, y'all are pointing out some good stuff because I do think that was probably the most I found to be one of the more enjoyable aspects, their relationship and their growth. You see it with the other Stranges. All the other Stranges hold the knife to a point to where it either ends in an incursion, in the death of a Strange, or just Strange loses himself and tries to murder America.
Yeah.
And I think he's no longer selfish. I think he just thinks he has to put the weight on, and that's also in the beginning too, when he has to live with the fact of what he put people through for 5 years. And I thought that was actually a really nice scene too with the doctor.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. It's kind of just, it's like, how is he functioning after putting the world through that, despite saving multiple lives, you know?
Well, he is a surgeon, and he thinks that he's the surgeon for the entire world or universe.
Right. And then he realizes he doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Here's the knife, America. Punch that bitch.
Like, whoa.
Sorry.
Are they telling us? Are they telling us to trust America?
Ooh. Trust.
Big I feel about that.
America.
We keep America. We keep alluding to America Chavez. What do we think about America Chavez?
I like her.
I thought she was fine. Yeah. You know,
I wish they would have developed her character a little bit more, but I think
that's what I was missing a little bit.
She was all right. I felt that it's like, yeah, she needed a little bit more development. Really, she was just like rough around the edges, and they didn't put sufficient time on her.
She's the spunky.
The performance was good. The performance was good, but there just wasn't much. It could have been more development of that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm saying that's all we got
of that character.
Yeah. Like, the only thing we got from her was basically her flashback. Like that was like what we got from her, and it was like, wow, this is big stuff. But okay, what else? Come on.
It was like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
The star-shaped portals. The star-shaped portals.
Hey, that's accurate though. DoctahReeka's. It's accurate.
For comment.
It is star-shaped portal in the background. I liked it. I like that aspect about her. She has super strength, right? That's her deal, or she has it.
She does have super strength.
Okay.
She could have. Then why wasn't she just when she got? You know what?
You see, okay, you see,
the
frustration you're having is what I had.
Like that kind of brings me into another thing of the movie, which is kind of like the plot armor to a certain extent. It's like, okay, like
it was heavy plot armor.
Like,
I mean, though, like this is a good point that like if you're a kid that you have powers and you're still trying to develop and understand how your powers work, you're obviously not going to be going out there like a rock star and being the next Avenger. You know, like you're gonna have trials that you're gonna have to test out, and like her being in the cage and not being able to break free until like the moment absolutely called for it and her adrenaline was kicking in. That makes sense. Same thing for Portal. Like,
no, like that, we learned there was trauma. Like, we learned there was trauma attached to her using her powers was attached to trauma. We learned that too.
You're true. You're right.
And that makes total sense. But it was just like for me, like at the end, it's like, oh, like I trust you, which is like a very important part of the movie and like Doctor Strange's growth as a character. But it was just like, oh, now my powers just seem to work on my command. That's like for me, it was just like
fair enough.
Like it was a very power friendship anime type of like.
Them portals stayed open a lot longer. Portals stayed open a lot longer.
You know what it was? It's Miles Morales functioning as a fully fledged Spider-Man at the end of Spider-Verse after one little
now you just take I ain't got
that's
one little speech, and now she's
and now she's punching the hell out of the Scarlett Witch, which is supposed to bring destruction to everyone. It's like
where you want to go? The lava dimension? Boom, you're there.
Like I'll show you. Like I'll take you to a place you want to be. Which was like that scene was kind of like
But don't get me wrong, I like her.
Yeah,
I like her. I like the portrayal.
Okay,
there's growth there. I do wish there was I'm gonna go find my mothers. Did you forget about them?
Maybe they're saving them.
What do you mean?
That's maybe
well,
like,
to be fair, she doesn't know where she's even sent them. there's that. So I get where you're going with it, but I don't think she knows where they even are. So it's like, how many multiverses?
She's training at the end of the movie.
Is she training to find her mothers?
She's training to be able to defend herself. So
sounds. You know what, Ethan? This sounds like a forced plot point that you're trying to force
Not a forced
on the
plot
movie.
point.
It's like
I just want her. I want that. I want the.
Well, I guess my question is, a lot of you all have shared like, I wish there was more development. What does more development look like for you?
Ooh, good question.
That's a great question.
She's asking you, Grandmaster.
She's not asking anyone who's shared like, I wish America Chavez had more development. What does that look like?
I just think it's not solely on her. I think their relationship development was so much going on that it just wasn't, to me, enough time for them to really cook together. And you see, I know we're talking about the mentorship aspect and him trusting her at the end, but to me, I only saw glimpses of that relationship really growing in this time of crisis. I really didn't get a moment of, I mean, it's cliche to say, but there's a moment of them connecting maybe early on when they did the memory thing, which they did not pay for a discount, by the way. And
that's right.
It's free. What more of a discount do you want?
Yeah, food is free.
$3.99. Yeah, I'm not too mad at it, but I think so much is going on that there was just something there that could have been brought out that I thought would have brought a lot more depth to both characters between the two of them, and with her too, because there's a lot of questions we have about her now. She kind of was there for the whole movie, but we have a lot of questions about this character, and I love the fact that this character is here. I love that she's here, but the fact that I enjoy her presence is saying, okay, I need a little bit more.
I think we saw a majority of her development in conjunction with Strange. Like her biggest thing, I feel, other than the loss of her parents, was she didn't trust Strange because one of the Strangers tried to kill her, you know? So we saw that growing development of relationship between them versus, I guess, her individual.
So basically, Strange had to learn to trust others while she had to learn how to trust herself. Like,
Yep.
Yeah. But
I mean,
her
like-
story
Yeah.
was a side story compared to Wanda and Strange. Though. That's my thing.
Exactly,
It was a small story compared to Wanda and Strange's story. And my question is, did it really need to be that small? Like, did Wanda's story really need to be that prevalent?
Yes,
For
I
the
think.
film to be what it is?
Okay. Wait a minute. Now let me, the writer in this room, let me
Of
talk,
course.
because here's the
course.
thing. This is not called Doctor Strange and America Chavez in the Multiverse of Madness. This is called
Fair.
Doctor Strange. This is a Doctor Strange movie. And Sam Raimi is good at a couple things. He's good at really cheesy, campy movies, really cheesy, campy horror, good jump scares, and really in-depth character pieces. That's what he's good at. So this story is following Strange, and we had a side character that had to develop along with Strange. We got a little bit of her backstory. We got her want. Her want was to ultimately find like peace with this power that has been a chaos in the entire life. And we had her need. She needed to like not die or to stop being hunted by whatever was chasing her. Now, the reason why we got a fleshed out Wanda character is, first of all, America Chavez, this is her first outing, and probably the first of many. So maybe in another solo movie. And of course, there's also a lot of things that they don't tell you in this movie because they show you. Peep the pride pin that she was wearing.
I noticed that, yeah.
Or the on her jacket, I think it said "Amor es amor."
Love is love. Yep.
So there's a lot of things that get into the visual aspects of this film that is trying to challenge the viewer to say, "Hey, do a little bit more investigating." Now, the reason why Wanda was more developed is because Wanda is an established character. We know a lot of her backstory. We've already had a character arc up until this point, and this is where the character arc finishes. So, but we also need to create a dynamic with the main characters arc to fit in the theme of the movie. Now we saw it with Spider-Man 2. Peter was literally a foil for Dr. Octopus was literally a foil for Peter in Spider-Man 2. They had very similar backstories, and it was just a dark reflection of what he could become. Wanda was a reflection among many other actual reflections of Strange of what he could become.
We saw
that with the reflections of Strange.
Right. Thank you. Yes.
I saw that in
That's
Shrek
that.
4 as well.
Shut the hell.
I believe
Fair
you.
point. I don't disagree.
I don't disagree with your point either.
With Shrek?
No, goodness. No.
I'm sorry. You didn't clarify. Okay.
I just feel her arc was too similar to her previous arc. She just realizes if she lets her powers run wild, she could be the monster or she could be the villain in the story. And that's something
Wanda?
Yeah, Wanda. Yeah, we already saw that. So I just felt it didn't really amount to nothing.
But it made sense, like from how WandaVision ended. I think this makes a lot of sense, though.
But
Thank you.
it doesn't
Fair
make
too.
sense because
Thank
all
you.
the ones-
Thank you.
But it is
Oh.
it's very human to regress though. Still.
No,
So, I
but
mean, at the
the
same time-
regression was based on the Darkhold, and that's my problem.
Yeah.
But
That-
actually, I've been listening, and I don't think anyone's point out like the actual villain or the main idea, like everything that's been behind the entire movie was the dark hole. Like it's literally the dark hole has been like the entire theme of what controls this movie, like every angle. And I think like as far as Wanda being depicted as the villain, I don't think it was more so for her to look like a villain or we to have evil Doctor Strange. I think because of the ending, especially, I think there's a theme of the Darkhold chasing these strong entities, especially Strange. And it's more so not one character, like it's not like this individual story, but more so like the Darkhold has been the entire reason why they've been like chasing this like happiness. And even we keep seeing this theme of like even in Shang-Chi, at like with the darkness and like the same happiness coming from the other side of the wall. We keep getting that same chase, and I think it's really that alone that it's trying to bring out like call out the darkness of like each of these really like powerful characters that we keep. We got the Scarlet Witch now, and then we have like the Doctor Strange. Now we even at the very end, we're getting like this crazy evil Doctor Strange again, like as we got in What If. So it's like this Darkhold is literally the center of the entire movie, but it's like we're almost like you can miss it really easily and think it's something else. Like you could think like, oh, like where are they going? Like who's the actual villain? Like what is the actual reasoning? Like why are we seeing Wanda be evil again? Why are we seeing Strange like traveling through multiple all these multiverses and having the same outcome like we saw in What If? It was always going to be the same thing because he's still the same person at the end of the day. So I don't think like we're all looking for like, oh, the villain or like this black and white, but I think we're missing the behind it all, the real reason this movie is moving.
The Darkhold is the ring of power. You've opened my eyes.
Is the ring of power. That's what
honestly, but honestly, that's not a bad comparison.
It's
Yeah.
not.
Did we even get
Pretty
Evil
corrupted.
Strange? We didn't get Strange from What If.
We did not get
We did
Strange.
not.
Oh, that was him. That was him.
That was not
That
him.
was not.
That was
him.
not him.
That
He
was
way
not
too
him.
Supreme?
He was
wasn't.
way too weak. That wasn't him.
That was
Oh,
not him. And,
Yeah,
and not only that, he didn't. The way he described his universe going down does not match
Yeah, it doesn't
the What
match.
If Strange
Doesn't
on
match
how
the
his
What If
universe.
right.
It was still an
You're
Evil
right.
Strange, but not the What If Evil Strange.
Which
You're right.
I don't think it was exactly the What If Strange, but I'm saying the idea because we got Ultron.
I mean,
but
it
I don't
is a
think we're-
dark Strange. It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
you're right.
dark.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
It is not
the
Strange
idea.
Supreme. That is the one from What If. Strange Supreme.
The idea.
I was
Like
gonna
that-
say there's a lot of like winks as far as
Yeah,
like
yeah.
episode.
I'll
Yeah,
acknowledge it. And that's what
I do have a question though. I'm curious about y'all's thoughts because I think I've heard a lot of like call for additional development. And does it feel like if this was like an 8 to 10 episode series, there would have been more satisfaction having more time with some of these characters at that point? Or are you satisfied with the 2 hours? Because I'm just hearing a lot of like criticisms regarding development of characters or of story points. So I'm certainly curious about like
I'm a series guy now.
because of Loki, right?
No.
Oh.
But a movie, and in this day and age in the MCU, a film just needs to like, I guess, we do talk about development a lot, but I guess, yeah, you'll see more development in a series. Of course, there's more time.
I
And what's Hawkeye's excuse?
Shut the hell up. He had development.
think I have to combat that with we ran into an issue in the Arrowverse where when it came to series, they just tried to like overdo it by putting 22 episodes that were
trash
one season. And it was just getting too much. And you have the development of characters, but then you start to just not care anymore, because like some of these characters were just, the storylines were just getting really watered down. And so I still enjoy the 2-hour movies. Like, I think it was great that we got to see the characters, and like what Nino was saying, there's a lot of implications that you can make with some of these characters from things that were not said, but things that were seen. Like, for instance, with America Chavez, like, yes, she had her pins, yes, she had her lesbian moms, but on top of it, you start to empathize with the character from things that were not seen, as in, she's basically a refugee. You know, she's been running her whole life. She's been going through dimension. She's now trying to escape this crazy witch that's like trying to get her powers. Like, there's a lot of inference that you can make from some of these characters. So that's where you have to start doing that deeper dive, and not necessarily, oh, there's no development of this character, but it's like, are you taking a second to really fully digest what you just saw? Did you take a second to like really think about like, okay, this is the struggle that she went through. She just had to she literally just saw this dude almost take her life. And then now she has to trust another version of this dude. So there's like a little bit of a barrier, but then she's also young and naive, and she kind of wants to open up and see if he is a different version. You know, there's a lot of inference that you can take from some of these characters. When it comes to the Scarlet Witch, I do think that the Darkhold definitely had an effect to it. Would I have liked to see another final redemption at the end? Yes. Does everybody get a final redemption, like when it comes to life? No. So maybe there is just a little realism with that. DoctahReeka, I know you're trying to say something, but you're on mute, so I don't know.
I was just saying that there was, in a way, I don't think it's a clean redemption, but it did kind of cap off with like self-awareness.
That's true. You're right.
Some degree of, altruism as far as her destroying the Darkhold.
Right.
So,
I mean, the other part to this is that it was prophecy that she would either rule all of the universe, or she would either destroy the universe. And at the end of the day, neither of it happened for anyone, because once she destroyed the original nexus of the Darkhold, I think it kind of destroyed every single Darkhold in all of the multiverses. So it's kind of interesting, because you no longer have that story, you no longer have that, I hate to say omnipotent, but like you kind of had this omnipotent being, and I guess it's just going to leave room now for more threats to come. So inevitably, I think it did need to happen, because if Kang comes into play, like, you're not going to have like, oh guys, let's go get the Scarlet Witch to come and stop Kang, because like she has the power to do this. But I think it's now going to be like, we have to come up with new resources to find this. There's a lot of stuff that I still have to digest about the movie. I'm probably going to watch another time, but I think that with these 2-hour movies, you can get a lot out of it. And that's kind of the beauty of it, the mix of the score, and, shout out to Ethan, what's his name?
Danny Elfman.
What's his name?
Danny Elfman, that's right, baby. What else did he do?
Everything that's campy.
Spider-Man.
That's right. I really enjoyed all of it. Were there some parts of the movie that I could definitely do without? Absolutely. I'm personally not a fan of superhero squish. I know it's like the latest trend going on with like Invincible, with boys, and like all that stuff. I don't care for it. I don't want to see someone's head explode from their own power.
You want to know why you think that? I'm not going to tell you why you think it. I'm going to at least say why I think it. I felt like the main universe, right? The main different universe we visited.
Where most of the story takes place.
Right. The Illuminati is present, right? I felt like the deaths that Darce is mentioning it didn't pay off in the end, because those elements I feel like were rushed. Reed Richards, John Krasinski as Reed Richards in the movie, mind blown.
That was my geek out moment.
That's a wrap.
throws
But
a punch at Scarlet Witch. Play-Doh. What?
Black Bolt can decimate anyone. Why open his mouth? What mouth?
Blows his brain.
Oh my god, that was pretty. But you also, this movie's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And what did it give us? Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It wasn't a multiverse like crossover movie. It just happened.
It was called Multiverse of Madness.
It was called Doctor Strange in.
And
Doctor Strange
I think they should have called it.
Wait, is it and or in?
In.
In? Okay, in.
I think they should have called it Doctor Strange in Wanda's Madness, because the multiverse was kind of sound.
I think they should have just said in a Multiverse of Madness. He didn't really go to that many. Well, he went to 2?
Like 3?
Three?
Like he passed through, I don't know how many. And
I'm not counting the 12.
That was a lot.
I'm not counting the 12. He passed through for 2 seconds, and he's like, "Oh, you remember that paint world? Oh yeah, I remember. It was I threw up." No, that doesn't count.
My problem with the Illuminati is, I think, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of us, that was the spoilerish thing that was going around. That pretty much that whole sequence, except DoctahReeka.
Except DoctahReeka.
She lives under a dissertation, which is okay. That's perfectly awesome.
It's probably
But
the best way.
It's like, and again, the whole concept of the multiverse, we got some people who think Moon Knight takes place in another universe.
That's me.
And I know.
Does it not?
My problem is, and I hate that I came into this movie with this. I thought this movie was going to open up so many doors with regards to the multiverse. And what it seemed like we just got was, as far as that scene goes, was like fodder. Because I really hate how they brought in all these characters just to murk them in one fact. Again,
we just got this. They just did this in Moon Knight. Like, I was so livid, low key. I was like, "Yo, we just saw this." Like,
I didn't like it in Moon Knight.
Like, Mordo put it best. He's like, "I will cast my vote when they come back."
Yeah.
Bro, they're not coming back.
They're not coming back.
What was he doing in that chamber still?
Well, yeah, why did he say? Yeah, they have to watch Strange.
He said, "I will have the final to say."
You will have the final say. You're the only one.
But think about it this way: like that universe was so arrogant because they thought they were ahead of the curve. They underestimated Wanda. Classic horror movie mistake. Because right then, Wanda was not only acting as the villain, but also the horror movie monster that was coming to get them. And by the way that she was shot, and especially with the chase scene afterwards, and this is another side thing. But y'all bring up all these other things. The movie, you haven't brought up Sam Raimi's direction, which was absolutely fantastic and a breath of fresh air for the MCU. But I digress.
We did bring it up. We said we liked it.
It is a breath of fresh air.
Talk about it more.
Yeah.
It was good.
Well,
I
before
like
you move back to the direction, though, before you move to direction, did you want more doors open with this film? A lot of people thought this movie was gonna bust.
Wait, can I also?
Because honestly, like, going into the Multiverse of Madness, I wanted doors to be open that are going to be like, oh, you remember this character from Fox's X-Men movie? Well, here he is one more time with claws coming out. Like, I kind of wanted to see some of these doors open, but like it was a tease. And this was something that us nerds hyped up a lot about when we saw the title Multiverse of Madness. We're like, yes, this is everything we wanted. And we all got into our own heads with our own theories and stuff. And then did it disappoint a little? Is it our own fault? Yeah. I think.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you? You can go ahead.
Rose was about to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
My thought is, at least for me, also I still enjoyed the movie going experience. You can't beat that. You can't.
Oh no, you can. Yeah.
The combination of directing and music and stuff like that. The whole thing in this moment. But for me, I also struggle with this, and I was talking to Tangelo about this right after the film too. That I think they actually mentioned it first. But we're coming off of everything, everywhere else, everywhere. I mean, I know I said that probably.
That is not the title, right?
And, I know.
Just call
all
it the
at once,
everything.
everything
Bagel.
all at once, everything y'all get the bagel movie, right? And we get here, and it's tough to follow that movie. You shouldn't compare it, but they're both tackling the multiverse. And one thing I noticed that none of us have addressed is how they tackled the concept of the multiverse. I don't think they did a terrible job, but I think we just watched, or most of it just watched something that just put such a spin and introspective look on the multiverse that for me, it kind of hindered, which is no fault of the movie itself. It kind of hindered some of me watching it. I still enjoyed this movie as much as I criticized, certain elements of it. I still enjoyed it in the beautiful mess that it was in a lot of senses. But honestly, the concept of multiverse for me was like, it didn't intrigue me that much. Because I was like, I've already seen this concept. And it's not but so much you can do, but it's like, I've already seen it done and executed beautifully, in my opinion. And so now I'm looking at it, have similar beats, whether they wanted to or not, but that put an unfair expectation in my brain about how to continue to go about the multiverse in that particular film. I don't even know if the multiverse played a big role in this film, if I'm thinking about it, as far as the impact that it had on the overall characters and everything. I think it was there, but it was more like a template and not more like a driving force to really provoke some things it could have provoked. It did provoke some things, but I think it could have did some more.
I have a question. For everybody. Would the movie been better off titled Doctor Strange 2?
Come on, man. They don't do that anymore.
They stopped that with Iron Man.
Because I get what he's saying, though. It's because the movie's called Doctor Strange. It's not really like in the Multiverse of Madness. Like, it's not supposed to be, Doctor Strange about discovering the Multiverse of Madness or something like that. That's not the whole purpose. And I think as far as like it keeps feeling underwhelming with the multiverse is because I don't think Marvel does a good job of I guess like multiverse is supposed to be like fan service in a way. Like we want to see like different combinations of certain characters having certain, abilities or whatnot. It seems they all just do the same thing. Like we saw two different Wandas doing the exact same thing. Like I want to see this Wanda be like, I don't know, like the Silver Surfer. Or
maybe her aura's green.
like with DC, how like you have like the Flash like being like a lantern. Like we want to see like combos and like I guess like different scenarios, but we keep getting like the same type of character and the same type of story. So that's why it feels really underwhelming. I would say that.
Also, if you're going to be going through all these multiverses, why haven't you brought up any of the mutants? Why didn't they go in? Because Wanda is a mutant in most of these multiverses.
They did.
She kind of mentioned it too. Like she kind of.
That was it. Where's Magneto?
Yep.
So wait,
gone,
the Illuminati. I guess this is more like a question about like the actual group, but like the Illuminati, is that just a group of those superheroes from that universe, or is it a collective of multiple heroes?
No. Every universe has their Illuminati.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that universe had their own version of Captain
Strange
Carter.
is probably going to make an Illuminati now in the 616.
Is that a separate one? Oh no, that's their universe.
That's his universe.
Right.
Like, that's like main MCU universe.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be good and all, but what was it that they were trying to say that causes the incursion or whatever the word was? It's when someone from another universe stays in another universe for too long of a time.
I think it's like multiple traveling between like the multiverse. It just like makes them mesh in together, and they definitely, that's what I understood.
They definitely explained incursion a lot better in that What If episode with Strange Supreme.
Well, I thought that What If episode wasn't about multiverse, but time, because he tried every single type
he
of
caused an incursion in his universe, though, and his universe imploded.
Remember, he was grabbing different like entities, like all those monsters and stuff from different universes, not different time periods.
No. He wasn't grabbing them from different universes. He was grabbing them from different dimensions so that he can be the ultimate power.
And he caused an incursion in his universe.
Interesting. So I guess incursions don't have to be about universal twists. It can just be about changing something. And they mention it in What If. It's like a plot point, a time point, something that's like an absolute point.
Yeah, bending
An
reality
absolute
to an
point,
extent.
right.
Like bending reality to a certain extent, even in your own world, you can kind of make your own world collapse on itself.
Yeah.
Right.
But at least incursions here, which are like another variant of incursions, could be just like you're tampering with two different realities or two different universes. They tangle up, and that they try to mesh in together, and either one will die or both will just die.
Did we just say a variant of an incursion? We are getting into super nerd territory. How dare we?
I think it's just all the same. I think it's all just incursions.
Yeah, I think many things can cause an incursion.
Going into medical lingo, a subtype.
Talking about just multiverse and how we expected it. Dare I say this? I think Loki might have done a better job. I think those last 3 episodes of Loki were really fun with the multiverse concept, like alligator Loki. I guess that's kind of the things I wanted to see. And I just wanted to see, I thought this movie would be like, oh, this is how the mutants come. This is how we're gonna bring in these other franchises. And I understand it is a Doctor Strange movie. It's in the title, Mr. Ryder. I get it. But I guess moving forward, Kang was introduced in, Loki. And Kang is the next multiversal villain. I guess we'll get more multiverse shenanigans when he arrives. So which is fine. I did still enjoy the movie. Yeah, it is what it is. Maybe there needs to be that gestation period, and just kind of reel it back and just kind
Maybe
of
watch it a second time.
Yeah, I will watch it a second time.
So but really, we said like a lot of negative stuff about the movie, but like there are some really positive stuff about the movie.
There are.
Again, one thing I heavily criticize of many Marvel movies, and all of you know this, is like that every Marvel movie feels like a rehash of a rehash, and like it always follows the same cookie cutter formula. This one at least tried to get out of that cookie cutter formula. It really took risks. So did some of the risks pay off? Yes. Did some of them not pay off? Yeah, but it's like I can appreciate the risk going forward with that. You tried something different.
Define the risk. Is the biggest risk the horror element?
One like horror element. There was a certain rawness of the movie. Comedy was not forced in this movie. I didn't feel it as like forced in other movies. It was just like, oh, okay. They just
even when it was forced in this movie,
it was kind of witty.
It had an element of Kame. That's classic Sam Raimi. Like how like in a MCU movie, like you just see like, oh, I have power now. I like this, or like, like, and then Scarlet Witch. It goes back to Scarlet Witch, and she's like, no. I found that so funny.
What?
Yes. Yeah, America Chavez.
I thought I got it, but then I didn't.
Yeah, America Chavez was like, she looked down at her hands and she was like, like when she finally got it, and then it closed up on Scarlet Witch, and Scarlet Witch was like, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right,
okay,
when they fought each other.
Okay, yes, I know what you're talking about.
And also going a little bit against Darce here. I know you don't like the goriness, type Invincible, the boys, and all that kind of stuff. I really do, and it was kind of really cool to see.
I was surprised by it
to be on the big screen, because I can see it on Amazon Prime and all that, but see it on the big screen with all like the jump scares going on. That was like, whoa.
I question the rating of this
And,
movie.
like, that was
Yeah,
really
there's
cool.
no way it's PG-13.
And
Come
see-
on,
Yeah.
they might as well go for that R.
And like seeing Wanda's brutality, like
she did.
this was
She did
really-
Peggy dirty.
Like this
That's all
was
I'll
really unhinged. This wasn't
Yeah,
like
that's the thing
MCU
that-
trying to hold back. It was
That's
like Wanda
point.
really went all out. You could see, like, okay, she is an omnipotent being. She means business, and it's like she will not like. She's not just gonna beat you. No, she's going to rip you to shreds. She's going to rip you apart. She's going to annihilate you, even with all her reality bending powers. She was actually scary.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's the thing, though. Is when she was fighting Doctor Strange, why didn't she just make his arms noodles so he can't?
Yeah,
Plot armor.
Yeah, that's plot armor. That's
Because he
one of the
uses
things
magic.
I didn't love
Oh,
about
wait,
the
wait,
movie.
wait. While we're talking about that, I want to say one thing that I feel like I'm the only one that identifies, and that is Captain America Steve Rogers always puts up a fight against people that he should not be putting up a fight against.
Oh yeah.
And this happened as well with Peggy Carter putting up a fight against Wanda or Scarlet Witch. We should say Scarlet Witch, really, because of the hold on.
Scarlet
We should
Witch,
really
yeah.
say Scarlet Witch to the Wanda. Wanda's trapped inside Scarlet Witch, so we probably should start with that. But yeah, what Scarlet Witch could have took her out like
Oh yeah. Like
ASAP.
Scarlet Witch. So Scarlet Witch had a harder time against Captain Britain, right? Or like
Captain Carter.
To Carter.
I don't know, whatever. Captain Carter, then against Mr. Fantastic, then against what's the
Captain
the
Black Bolt.
Black
Well, I say Black Bolt. Mr. Fantastic's a little different.
It's like, yeah, that was kind of
Mr. Fantastic was not about to do anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you want. You can stretch it there. Ain't gonna
But
do
listen, all I know is that when we walked out of that movie theater, there was a girl who watched the movie with us who was wearing a
Yeah.
Captain Carter
Oh,
like
yeah, there
shirt.
was.
I know she went
I
home
felt
and
for her.
cried.
Yeah. It
I
was
know
tough.
she went home and was in tears because they really
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
they-
know,
They did it dirty. It was
mean,
tough
but
to
it
you
was
watch.
could say
It was
that
tough
it's
to
gonna
watch.
split audiences, you know.
It was cool to see all of them. I love that they brought Haley Atwell back just to get murked. I love seeing your boy Patrick Stewart looking old.
In
as
he was
ever.
in the
They
classic
snapped this man's
chair.
neck.
He
Yeah,
was
They snapped
They
this man's
snapped
neck,
his
though.
neck, right?
Oh my god.
If Wanda wasn't scary by jump scare, yes, her powers and what they can do were scary.
yeah.
I didn't know she could take somebody's mouth off. That's
She
insanity.
she can warp reality. She can do whatever
Yeah.
she wants.
Yeah, she can warp
Which is
reality.
that's strange because like
TBH.
if she can do that, why doesn't she like close the mouth and like nose of like everyone in there? You know, like
That's what I'm saying.
make them stop breathing.
No. She said she was she's been reasonable. That's what she said. She said she's
also
been
that.
reasonable the whole time.
Yeah, but now
She
she's
was
not.
reasonable in 616. I think once she started jumping, she said
Oh,
the
she
reasoning.
started using more of the dark hole. The moment she starts dream walking, she's becoming more and more evil.
But here's the thing. But now here's a meta commentary on that, because if she just closed the mouths and nose on everybody and then everyone died, everyone will complain. Oh, but why did she kill them in the same way? Might as well just give her a gun.
mean, I wouldn't say that,
and
but-
they would have been like, oh, what do you call it? This is a boring movie, and they killed them off boring. She left an impression. She left an impression on people. She didn't just close his mouth. His brain exploded into goop.
Because he tried
From his own
talking.
power.
He's a dummy.
I think what I'm gonna agree with Kenneth. I think it was just as far as like writing how extremely crazy she was about getting her children that never existed.
Yeah.
And I think that's they like really daunted on the extremities of each character going there. Like they're trying to do whatever it takes. And when we're talking about Wanda, yeah, no, you're not getting in her way. And I think that was the display. And that's why I think it's been cohesive of her character, because this makes sense. Like she really, really wants her kids. We've known this for a very long time.
Your kids are annoying AF. That dumb ice cream cone. Sit down, Billy and Tommy.
We want
need
ice cream.
But that's
We're
classic Sam Raimi.
childhood.
Heartfelt Sam Raimi.
Ice cream.
No,
Ice cream.
you know, I'm like, at first I was saying like, oh, I'm really thinking that Wanda's character regressed, but now like hearing you guys, to a certain extent, I'm feeling more inclined that it actually goes a little bit with her character, and also like going into into reality. You know, like you can you're grieving, but if for whatever reason, and if something or someone offers you a glimmer of hope, you're gonna take it. And the glimmer of hope was the Darkhold. Like, sure, like she was coming to the acceptance that like, you know, my kids weren't real, you know, I did all this bad stuff in WandaVision, and then the Darkhold, which is that glimmer of hope, you're gonna cling to it.
Not only that, she said that she was like she kept dreaming about her children. Imagine having to give up your kids, and then imagine having to give up something, and then every single day for the rest of your life,
reliving that the rest of your life.
Those are real dreams, though. Remember, that's just different universes. So she already was like, she's like, oh, I know I got kids. Like, you can't tell me I don't have kids. I saw it.
In another universe, though, but you can't go around hijacking.
Yeah, but again,
that's the whole point. That's the whole point of the movie.
That's the whole point. She literally said,
"I would do anything for a child."
Let me throw this out there. If Wanda's willing to do anything, why didn't she just go for that good book, the never-ending story? The book
because
it's a movie. You need something.
You mean the book that doesn't do
it's
anything?
A movie.
That's a
you mean an actual MacGuffin in a movie? An actual MacGuffin?
Why couldn't she get the good book and be like?
But she was trying to. But
because the whole point.
To get the good book.
Because she had the dark
wasn't talking to her.
No, she's trying to get America. She wasn't trying to get the good book.
All right. Well, you know,
I know the whole point of the podcast is to dissect. I also just think like it's also just a movie. Yes, she went after the evil book because we gotta fill up 2 hours. Okay. Yes, you bring in these new characters and they gonna get killed off because we need entertainment.
Well, I would say
I personally like some of those elements. You know, I like that it's a little chaotic and a little messy. And I actually kind of like that they did a swerve and like, here's Reed Richards, but also he just died. And here's, Captain Carter, but also she just died. Like there's an element of just like surprise. I think to DrMondo's point, over the course of many podcast episodes, I think you got to keep it fresh. Marvel knows its formula. It works well. This movie is going to make a lot of money, but you also got to do something a little different. And I felt like they did that. Did all of it work? No. But did it also have to? No, because they're going to make more movies. And we're sitting here and we're having a good time having some conversation about it. So clearly they did something right.
I
just don't think it's as deep.
I think they did some things right.
Are as deep as you're making them. Like they had to get the evil book. What you gonna do with the good book?
But DoctahReeka, you forget that getting the evil book is a forced plot point. So
it's not a force; it's a continued plot point. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it really is continued. It's a.
I never said that was a forced plot point.
But here's the thing. Grandmaster. The continuation is forced. Have you ever considered that?
All I'm saying is this. They never implied that the Darkhold would make you crazy. It was just dark magic. Just saying.
What did you expect with a name like the Darkhold? That it was going to
I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect
in Kingdom Hearts.
I didn't expect anything. I didn't know the dark. I didn't know the Darkhold.
Excuse you. When in Kingdom Hearts, when Xehanort experiments with darkness, what is your assumption that's going to happen?
All I'm saying is this. I think it would have been a cooler story had she gone crazy or angry or, the madness without something forcing it. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Now, if she wanted to use the good book for bad,
the Bible?
But that's not a good book.
Ashanti,
I bet you there's a spell in that good book. Okay, hold up. All right. One thing we have not talked about is Wanda dead.
No.
Yeah.
I say
Absolutely
she
not.
is.
Absolutely
I think she's
not.
dead.
You have no proof.
You can't redeem. What? How are you gonna bring her back? You can't redeem her.
Dead.
Yeah, but to bring her back means that you have to redeem her in some way. She's gonna be on the good side, but she can't be on the good side because she slaughtered all those people up until that point.
He did kill all those people at Kamartaj.
I mean, all right, we got heroes in Marvel that's killed plenty of people.
Oh,
intentionally?
I think
burn them to a crisp.
Snap
them. Snap their neck.
She sounded like a
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't know.
The
Winter Soldier.
The red went out. You saw the cave in and the red went out.
What do you mean the red went out?
Like you saw
the red light.
I feel like that's the Scarlet Witch. If she would have still lived, if I'm making sense here, like Wanda is always there.
Live.
Yeah, but we have the Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch can't be good. Is that what we're?
No, I'm saying the Scarlet Witch is not gonna die that easily.
Yeah, no, the Scarlet Witch is not dead.
But no, are you trying to say that they're two separate entities?
They are.
Scarlet Witch and Wanda.
They are two separate entities.
Yeah, they're completely two separate people.
They're
okay. I think y'all are you talking about when like Xavier went in there and was like, you know?
But even before that, we already knew that they were separate.
Yeah, they talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch WandaVision?
She is the Scarlet Witch. It's not like the Scarlet Witch inhabited her. She was the reincarnated Scarlet Witch.
No, the Scarlet Witch is brought upon by the Darkhold. The only way she can become Scarlet Witch is through the Darkhold.
The main idea is the Darkhold here. We have to remember the Darkhold holds this movie together, literally.
Hold the phone. She was the Scarlet Witch before she got the Darkhold.
No, she was not.
The Darkhold.
Literally, Agatha said she was the Scarlet Witch.
I think that was a title. I think that was a title.
Because she absorbed the powers of the Darkhold.
Exactly.
When she absorbed Agatha's power, she is absorbing the Darkhold, and that's when she became the Scarlet Witch.
You're confusing this with Spider-Man 2.
I don't. All I'm saying, I don't think they're two separate.
Were you asleep?
They are.
I wasn't. I wasn't.
Rewatch season finale of WandaVision.
I wasn't. I don't
I
recall.
have a question. Was the intention for this to like mirror House of M?
I think so.
Okay, just wanted to check in.
Well, Elizabeth Olsen says she wants to utter the lines, "No more mutants." So,
she wants to. She wants to
get
get to that point.
I think we're gonna. I mean, it's crazy to think we're gonna get that story again, but it could happen.
It could. It could.
It sounds like a fight against the darkness. That's what this entire thing sounds like, a fight against the darkness. And the power of friendship.
This was Kingdom Hearts made into a movie. That's as simple as that.
It had the worlds. It had the multiverse.
Can I bring up some nerd questions here or some nerd characters that I was glad that they introduced or that they mentioned? So Reed Richards, she asked him if he had a family, and he said, "Yeah, I have my kids." One of his kids is Franklin Richards, and Franklin also has reality warping powers. That anything he imagines comes to light. And it can happen in any sort of universe.
Franklin is, I think, one of the most OP characters like in the Marvel universe.
He is. He's a Nexus.
Like he can make, like I think he created like his own little universe or something.
He did.
I peeped that, and that's why he hesitated.
Yep.
Because they wanted fans to catch that. For
yeah,
sure.
And I thought that was pretty cool. That they just made that little Easter egg kind of happen.
Nice.
But there is one other cameo that I wanted to mention that I have on my background here. That it's funny that when we were watching it, nobody knew who it was, so they all looked at me. If you stick around for the mid-credit scene, you'll see a wonderful actress, Charlize Theron, in her platinum hair, called to Doctor Strange. And this is someone I've been asking for the past couple of movies, but they needed to end that relationship thing with Christine. Clea is one of the coolest characters in Doctor Strange lore. She's the niece of Dormammu, so she has dark inside of her, but she also becomes the Sorceress Supreme.
Is that why when she cut the dimensions, I don't know, it looked like the Dormammu dimension?
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
it did look like Dormammu's dimension. Yep.
So she's all up in there. She later becomes the Sorceress Supreme. She kind of like works with Doctor Strange. She's his apprentice for a while, trying to learn all the different magics to become that.
Get married.
And then they get married. Exactly.
That's his happiness.
That's his happiness. That's his.
I did also want to point out another kind of little Easter egg that America Chavez is on the Young Avengers with the kids. So I did think that little mini crossover was cool in terms of that. Because I'm here because of America Chavez. So my hope is that we do see her again and that there is continuation with the Young Avengers. Because
I would mind
younger Loki too. So.
And the boy from Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the grandson.
Oh yes,
that's
yes.
right.
I'm just saying.
Isaiah's grandson.
I would watch a little series on Disney Plus.
It's coming. The girl. What's her name?
Oh yeah,
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop.
Yeah,
we have his daughter Cassidy.
Right. They are setting up a young.
They're definitely setting it up. It's
for
coming.
sure.
It's coming.
And But what?
We will see Reed Richards again. You don't drop John Krasinski.
Oh yeah, they're gonna bring it back.
They lost their director in John Watts, but they're coming. The Fantastic Four.
We at least have that.
Don't know how the mutants are coming, but Xavier,
we might get Xavier still. He was in his yellow chair. That was cool.
I would have like I loved all those cameos, but I think the cameo I really wanted to see, like Magneto. I just wanted to see Magneto.
I thought you were gonna say Dominic Toretto, but thank you.
Also that, like, yo, Sonic and Shrek, like they should have just tackled that. You know, the Shrek, everything is the Shrek first.
That is true.
Like the MCU is just the onion that Shrek is holding in the palm of his hand. All the layers.
I agree.
No, but really, I wanted to see Magneto because that
would have been a nice thing. Michael Fassbender just popping up.
Oh yeah,
that would have been great. Or the other one, Gandalf.
Ian.
Sir Ian. That would have been nice, but I guess we got Charles.
Action. The other one, she's like, what?
Dr. Jace, I'm gonna need you to just get it together a little bit with some of these actors.
It was Ian.
Disrespected Ian McKellen, and you disrespected Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, you called her.
I'm gonna need you to get it together. I'm gonna Google. Is your friend my?
I'm sorry.
These are people. They're important.
I'm bad with names in general. It's fine. The third eye. Was that explained? Does anyone know about
Tien
the third eye?
Shinhan.
Bad Bunny.
Tien Shinhan. Bad Bunny has a third eye?
Oh, from Dragon Ball Z? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, what's Bad Bunny? What are you talking about?
Dude, haven't you seen something that he puts on like an eye?
Oh no, I did not know.
I did not know Bad Bunny draws an eye on his forehead.
I hope he closes that eye a lot. I don't want to watch a Doctor Strange movie looking at that.
It kind of look. I mean, I don't know if this. I don't know if it's like a Sam Raimi thing, but I feel like the CG is really off with the eye. It looks kind of like weird. I don't know.
It looks like when you're editing on a game and you.
I was gonna say, yeah,
like your eyes too low,
like a green screen.
It just looked too low. Like it needed to be higher.
It's always gonna look off. Who is the expert on third eyes?
That's the people who study chakra.
Yes.
Those aren't eyes.
So that makes it more powerful, right? It does?
Those aren't eyes.
I don't know what the gimmick is. Is it just that he has a third eye, or is he stronger?
Chakras. What are you talking about? Eyes?
This is a Naruto. I'm not asking about Naruto.
Wait, no, because I thought it all stemmed from when he pretty much did what the Doctor Strange Supreme did and absorbed the. Like, remember, she was like pretty much like use the spirits, like Christine, like she told him to pretty much use the spirits like as if he had done in What If when he was just absorbing them, and then he controlled them. And then when he had the third eye, like in the end, like that's what they were alluding to, like that point of, because remember he had the other guy, Wong asked him, so like, are you okay? Like,
you mean when he summoned these demons?
Yeah, like, are you sure?
I
Because
like that. It was cool.
you controlled the, like, beyond the dead, sir. So you have to explain to us exactly what's going on in that head, and then he starts the music notes from when he had the fight, like, happen at the very end, and he falls
We
on the
did not
floor.
talk about that.
Yeah.
The music
that was
fight.
such a great scene.
That is equivalent to Marvel's Fantasia. That's
It was confusing though, because I was like, wait, don't they know how to do 1,000 other tricks than play with music notes?
That's
like,
all that was
No,
around.
I just found it so creative. It was,
It would have been.
and I found
was
it really
cool.
just funny, like the random harp note, just like blows it up.
It's all
I
it took.
found it great.
It's all it took. It's all it took. This is hard.
But it did make sense. It just did make sense to me. Like, I didn't understand the reason why for it was cool, but I'm like, he's done like 1,000 things. Like, why?
You summoned 1,000 shadow clones
It's
before.
madness. It's madness. There is no reason.
It's
to
not
it.
supposed to make sense. It's
I
madness.
guess.
Oh, there's just like a guitar riff every time the eye opens up.
Oh, yeah,
Eye
that's
opens
right.
it up.
Maybe that's what Sam Raimi was going for. But I guess the final thing is final thoughts. How would you guys rank this movie amongst all the other Marvel films you watch? I will say, probably the only other film I could compare it to in terms of different direction is Eternals. I felt like this was better than Eternals in terms of like different direction and doing it effectively. I still have problems with Multiverse of Madness, but if I'm comparing Marvel trying to get their feet wet in different areas of, directing films and having different perspectives, I think Doctor Strange did it a bit better than Eternals. I think it's better than the first Doctor Strange, easily.
Much better.
Yeah, easily.
Debatable.
No.
I would debate against that too. Yeah.
My thing is with the first Doctor Strange, and I mean, hey, we have our Marvel tier list. If you guys want to watch that, go watch it. We rank Doctor Strange and the other films, other MCU films, but with Doctor Strange, at least for me, it just felt like another Marvel movie in a way.
I hear
like,
that.
It was kind of formulaic. It was formulaic to me.
The origin story. Yeah.
It's an origin story. And again, with a character like Doctor Strange, I felt like the magic element wasn't really used too much. Like, yeah, you had the mirror dimension, you had Dormammu, all that stuff. But like, Doctor Strange was a whip boy. he was using that magic whip. But in here, I felt like he used way more magic. And of course, that goes to the experience. He's learned how to use magic at this point.
Right.
So,
I want moving forward with the film experience that it feels like a different movie featuring these characters. So I did enjoy the fact that this movie felt like at times a horror movie, at times a road trip Bond movie featuring these characters, which makes it fun and makes it different. So I give the movie that props. I give it a 7. It might change when I go watch it again. But yeah, I can appreciate the things Sam Raimi did. I can appreciate Elizabeth Olsen. She was very scary as Wanda, probably the scariest she's ever been. And I can appreciate Benedict Cumberbatch in his, he commands. He commands. He does a good job. And I can appreciate, despite the marking, the bigger whatever with the Richards and the Xavier. That's all I got.
Illuminati.
There's things to like.
No, yeah, like really, I would give the movie like a 7.5 out of 10. Like, I found it was a step in the right direction with Marvel. Again, it took risks that other Marvel movies haven't taken before. Some of them really paid off, some of them not so much, but it's a movie that for the MCU is going to be kind of like growing pains, or just like you learn as you go. And I feel that it's going to pave the way for other types and different superhero movies in the future, like of the MCU. It visually, like the movie was chaotic in the best sense of the word, and creative. Sure, it had its little shortcomings here and there with plot, but honestly really liked the movie, and the cameos that were just like great fan service. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I can't really give a number ranking to it this early on, but from the simple fact of was I entertained? 100%. I mean, I was entertained the whole movie through. It was a lot of moments where I laughed, whether I should have laughed or not laughed. And I think at the end of the day, I agree. I'm always going to lean more towards ambition than playing safe. And so stylistically and creatively, I always welcome that attempt, especially in Marvel, because Marvel has so much going on that it can be very formulaic at times. And they're starting to push boundaries actually with what they're trying to do in general. So yeah, in hopes that they continue to give creators more creative freedom in how they approach it, no matter how it goes. I was entertained. I think it's a movie you can watch. It's campy, like Nino said, so it's something you can watch later on, I feel, down the line, and really just like enjoy with friends or laugh at certain moments. And Sam Raimi is ridiculous. Like, his movies are ridiculous anyway. So if you already know that, like, you already get a sense of how it's gonna be. So that chaos is welcomed in my book for all the things that I said. So good movie. Room for improvement.
I think I'm gonna rate this also as a 7.5 out of 10. Sorry to cut you, DoctahReeka. I know you were trying to chime in, but I think it's about a 7.5. I kind of rate movies based off of rewatchability. Like, am I gonna go and rewatch this? Am I gonna rewatch in theaters? Probably one more time, yeah. But at home on like a Sunday afternoon, am I gonna put on the movie and watch Reed Richards' head explode? Not by choice, but I have to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It did give me the elements that I was craving with the horror aspect of it, but I think there were some things that could have been a little bit better, and there were some moments that I thought were really fantastic. So, fantastic. So, I do give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Kame, Chris?
I'd say I think it had a lot, like, I think it was really good and for what it was. I think this was one of the darker Marvel movies that we've gotten, and they don't really go dark, so I think this was a pretty good attempt for, like, for what it was. And I think as far as just the storyline, like, at first I think it just felt weird at first, like, watching it, and then there was just it felt like there was a lot missing. But I think as far as perspective of like everything that just keeps happening, we just keep getting more and more and more and more things that we have to think about with Marvel. So I think it's like so much to expect. At one point you're like, we could expect Moon Knight in this, like, we're expecting so many like Shang-Chi elements to pop up, like, like you just don't know what you're going to expect sometimes. So I think right now, like, if we just, like, I guess, take it for what it is and watch, remember what we saw in WandaVision, original movies, and what we just saw in Spider-Man. It's not a bad movie. I give it like an 8.5. Like, I think it does a really good job. I think it's definitely a more mid-Marvel movie, but at the same time, it did what needed to be done for what it was. And I think maybe the title of the movie, in the Multiverse of Madness, make you think like we're going to get way more multiverse concepts, but I think it gave just enough for what I guess the actual story was, and in the end of what we're supposed to get even more of. Like, it wasn't terrible. It just, I think, just gave exactly what it was supposed to give, and we're just not used to these type of Marvel films.
Okay. I think we're kind of all in the same boat a little bit. Tangelo, DoctahReeka, any final thoughts?
Go.
I think, yeah. I was just kind of like listening most of this time here. I think like 6.5 out of 10, 7 out of 10. I don't know. I feel like this film has made me realize I might be hitting that like Marvel, like.
Are you marveled out?
I might be with you on that, Tangelo.
Yeah, because I just like something about this film has made me just kind of go like like it was cool, like the horror stuff and like, but and this is my thing though, as I said, like the horror stuff, I'm not really a horror genre fan, right? So it's kind of like that in of itself like puts this like a thing. So yeah, I don't know, there's just something with this film that I kind of feel like it's not like Thor 2, but like, you know, I just think it's like, I wouldn't ever put it around there. I just think that it's like better than the average, but it's not like amazing, if that makes sense. So
It does. It makes sense.
And that's kind of the spirit of my comments too. I think there were some elements I really thought were cool. Huge America Chavez fan, so I really did like having her on screen and hope to see her more often. I think at some point, I don't see it happening just because of how the Marvel machine works. They really have to let directors and writers creatively express themselves fully and not be restrained. And I know that's not what they do, and that's not what to expect. And I have so many other movies I can go and watch if I want that. I think too, there's some of the more recent movies are kind of weighed down by having to carry on different stories rather than just letting people who are creative be creative. And I think I felt some of that, I was sitting in the theater like excited and I loved the cameos and that was great. At the same time, there was an element of like, I feel like there could have been a little bit more. I don't know what. I think I need time to sit with it, whatever more is for me, because I'd like to think on it a bit more, but there's something that didn't quite click. It's above the average. I don't think it's going to be my favorite that I've seen and whatnot. I don't know how often I will revisit it. I like some of the risks, and I've said that I think the last few times we've talked about some of the Marvel movies. Like, I don't mind the risk taking. I think they're not quite leaning all the way into it though, and I don't know if they will. That's not Marvel's MO, but I would be curious to see what would happen if they did, if they hired on these really creative people, if you just let them go wild and engage with the material, because we know what it's like. We've seen the comics and we know the potential of these stories, and I think the whole point of these movies is to see that realized. And I don't know if Marvel's doing it as frequently as they probably could, but they're still making their money, so I don't know how motivated they feel to do so. But I'm gonna still go. I'm still in the theater. I'm still gonna watch, just because I'm a fan and I like movies, etc. But I don't know.
That's fair.
That's a 3 out of 5 type of range, maybe.
Okay. I feel like that's more or less kind of in the same range that we've all been saying. I'm hoping the direction of this movie gives Marvel enough incentive to take more risks, and give directors, writers more liberties in writing some of these new, or hell, even some of the new origin stories we might get with new superheroes, whether it be TV shows or the next MCU big movie. But we'll have to wait and see. And I think Nino gave it like a 4 out of 10. I think he was in that range. Yeah, 4, 3 out of 10, I think. Yeah, right.
Joking, no?
No way.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Okay.
But there you have it, folks. There is our Yonkō Table talk on Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. If you stuck with us this long, I imagine you already saw the movie. If you haven't, go see it, please. I hope we didn't. We practically spoiled the entire movie, but hey, still go watch the movie. Let us know what you all think in the comments of wherever you're listening to us on. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, at the Yonkō Table. Give us a shout out, give us a listen, and let us know what you think of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But with that, everyone, I'm your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney, fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop, and Supernovas DrMondo, Darce, Tangelo, DoctahReeka, Rose the Crafter, Kame, Chris, and Nino Despacito. Signing off, guys, and take care.